Yes, everyone, if the bells in the background and the daft Santa hat on top of the logo at the top right-hand corner of the screen and this Santa hat on top of this daft guy in the middle of the screen didn't signal to you that it was Christmas, then I'll tell you anyway, it's Christmas, nearly. It's the eve of Christmas Eve, and I'm particularly buzzing about this Christmas more than any that's gone previously. Get that to football is what we're concerning ourselves with on the channel, of course, with a big game tomorrow at Celtic Park against St Johnstone. Yes, for the second year in a row, our big kind of festive fixture is against the Farmers from Perth. I guess this year, on the plus side, we're playing in Glasgow and hopefully with thousands of supporters there, unlike this time last year, barring a major change in circumstance this evening. But if Santa was bringing gifts this year for certain people, what would he bring? Maybe Celtic would ask for... Cheers. Stranger at the window there just waving at me. Clearly doesn't know there's an award-winning podcast being recorded in here at this very point. But yes, if Santa was bringing gifts for certain people this year, what would he bring? Would he bring Celtic a hammer to smash up the VAR monitor at Celtic Park? That would certainly go down well. Maybe a current rule book on handballs for us to pass on to the legends who would never criticise at Clydesdale House, perhaps. Maybe it would be another Japanese player. Maybe a white jacket like Stevie's for Ange to wear on the touchline. Can you imagine that? Maybe a puzzle book for Joe Hart so that he has something to do during the vast majority of games. And for me, maybe a dictionary so I can look up certain words before the next time that I chat to Ange Postecoglou. Anyway, today we are mainly chatting about tomorrow's game, but before then I did just want to spend a very short amount of time chatting about league reconstruction. Now just right away, just want to say it's not happening anytime soon, but it has been brought up by an SPFL club, so I did think it was worth maybe just spending a couple of minutes chatting about it. In fact, I'm going to do just that. I'm going to set my stopwatch on my phone. That'll be the same guy at the door. Single-handedly trying to spoil this for me. He's probably doing like some amazing Christmas deed, like giving out free meals to those in need or something like that, but it's not the time. So anyway, 2 minutes of intense chat is starting now. Raith Rovers are the club, by the way. They reckon that a bigger top flight of 18 or 20 teams would be good for Scottish football. 11 seconds. I guess we could take a wee look at what an 18-team Premiership would look like right now based on the way teams are sitting in their respective divisions. Definitely would be some interesting new games in there for Celtic at a few grounds and teams that we haven't visited, certainly in the league for, well, a number of years. This all seems to kind of stem, mainly from the fact that Raith would like to get to the top flight, let's not beat around the bush, but also the fact that they're kind of tired playing the same teams, and obviously in every kind of main league in Scotland you play most teams 4 times, 3 for some teams in the top flight. And the idea is if you have a bigger league of 18 teams or whatever, then you'll maybe only play each other twice. Now, I think in theory that sounds good, but I don't know about you, I quite enjoy having 4 derbies a season, at least more in the Cup. I quite enjoy playing Hearts, Hibs and Aberdeen 4 times too. I know it's a little bit repetitive at times, but like if you'd rather play like Aberdeen twice or play Aberdeen and like Raith, for example, or Rangers twice than have like Raith once and Rangers once or whatever. I think I'd much rather have the big fixtures more often. We're just a small country. I don't think this is ever really going to get off the ground, but it's interesting nonetheless. Stop the the stopwatch at 1:38, and perhaps the worst feature ever on this channel. Right, on to tomorrow then, the main stuff. Ange and Matt O'Reilly were put up for press ahead of the game, but the catch is that they did it after the game on Wednesday rather than today as usual. I can only assume that with it being the festive period, and given that we played kind of Wednesday night, Saturday morning, maybe they just felt they couldn't really schedule one in for today, so they just would have done it on the end of the stuff post-match on Wednesday and embargoed it until I think noon today when it all came out. So that's, if you're looking at the Celtic stuff today and it's like 3 minutes with Ange, 3 minutes with Matt O'Reilly, and you're thinking, God, they're quite short, were there not many questions today? That is why. By the way, O'Reilly and his good mate Moritz Jens were both at a Mr. Dom O'Reilly's gig at Garage last night. I was there too. He's a big fan of the channel, and a fun night was had by all, including me. And a shout out, by the way, to Aidan Smith from Bells Hill. I met, I think your dad, not 100% sure, it was loud and I'd had a few drinks at that stage. But yes, Aidan, thanks for watching the channel. Anyway, where was I? Not a great deal of stuff from Ange and O'Reilly. With it being filmed on Wednesday night. No update on Ralston, for example, from Ange, although he was hopeful on Wednesday. Ralston got a bang on the nose in the first half, and his back seized up in the second half, which is why he had to come off. So it's fair to say he was in the wars on Wednesday. Ange has more than hinted, I think it's fair to say, that he'll make changes for tomorrow's game. Maybe we'll see something like this with Joe Hart in goals, the rampaging right back Greg Taylor at right back, Alexandro Bernabé on the other side, and Cameron Carter-Vickers and Carol Starfelt in the middle. In midfield, Callum McGregor with Turnbull and Hatate in front of him. I just get the impression that Ange might make a wee change in there. Let O'Reilly put his feet up maybe for the majority of the game. And I know what you're thinking, it may be a pretty controversial front three there with no Kyogo, no Jota. I just get the sense that Haksabanovic will start, and I don't think you can afford to leave Abada out right now. With Hibs coming up in a few days, I'm not against the idea of Jota and Kyogo not starting the match as well. I think we can win with that front three and that team. Just on Giakoumakis, by the way, a fair amount of chat yesterday about a cryptic Instagram story post showing an image of him alongside a, wee egg timer, I guess. As you may expect, I have a fair amount to say about this, and I will do so now.
I've just been left totally on my own here, unfortunately. 2 seconds. Jeezy peeps. That is Hamish away, and I'm caught in one window now. So I'll have to go like this and speak to you like this.
I realise this is rich coming from a guy who purchased a UEFA Europa Conference League hoodie ahead of the tie against Bodo Glimt last season. But I do think we all just need to chill a little bit with the whole striker chat. I mean, 2 months ago, we were talking about us having 2 of the best strikers since Larsson and being in the best position we have been for a number of years with 2 really excellent strikers battling it out for one place. And it was a major issue that we could only play one and all of that stuff. And now when you chat to some people and you read some things, it almost seems like they're both diddies. Kyogo is apparently hopeless. He's really struggling despite being the top scorer in the league. Scored so many big goals for us this season. And Giakoumakis is apparently now Judas and he wants to leave the club. I do genuinely think things are okay. And even if they're not, a la Giakoumakis wanting to move on, then that's fine, we'll deal with it. He would be a loss, but I think Ange has proven that in the transfer window he has the ability to replace virtually anyone. So yeah, we're 9 points clear at the top of the table. We're still winning games at the moment, even though we're not playing at our best. It's the stickiest time of the year. Could have got that into a song, couldn't I? So I just think genuinely we all just need to calm down. If you take one thing from this video at this season of goodwill, just calm down, relax, okay? Right, let's take a look at the officials for tomorrow's game. Oh, for f***'s sake, you're having a f***ing laugh. What the f*** is this? Disclaimer, I actually don't mind Kevin Clancy. He's kind of one of the better ones. VAR tomorrow, Mike Runcorn. It seems like, see when VAR first came in, I don't know if you've noticed this, it seemed like they had the big dogs, the kind of main referees doing the VAR. It seems like certainly in the last 3 games there's been kind of names that you're not quite as familiar with doing the VAR. I know they said that initially, just in the kind of early period with the teething issues, that we're going to get the kind of well-known established refs doing it, but you're obviously then taking them off the pitch, which some may argue is not a bad thing. But I've just noticed that you know, in the past, I think our first few games, it was like I'm sure the Willie Collum do one of the games on VAR, or the game at Tynecastle was Don Robertson or something like that, and now it seems like we've got kind of not as well known people, so hopefully VAR doesn't play a major part in tomorrow's game, but it probably will based on how the recent past has gone. In terms of St Johnstone, they are the opposition tomorrow. They currently sit 5th in the Premiership and are unbeaten in their last 6. They came from behind to win at Ross County last time out. So this is going to be a tough game. If you have not enjoyed the previous 2 matches in terms of the approach from the opposition, I would suggest we're in for something similar when St Johnstone come to town tomorrow. Hopefully it's just a case of us getting an early goal and really opening the game up. It'd be lovely to get a healthy win. I can't remember the last time we properly battered a team at Celtic Park, probably in the derby, all joking aside. So hopefully that's the case again tomorrow. We can get a big victory to stay at a minimum of 9 points clear going into Christmas. That would be lovely. Remember the game, by the way, is a 12:30 kickoff tomorrow. So if you turn up at 3 p.m, you won't get to see much football. You may get to see a couple of average looking guys doing a video though, because me and Stevie will be recording around about that time and should have the video out for you about 3:30 or so. So yeah, I look forward to that from a no doubt freezing Celtic Park. Speak to you tomorrow.